Hello everyone. Welcome back to Shadowbringers. The current weather today is everlasting light. Isn't that fun? That's been the weather for the whole thing, by the way. I'm just now noticing it. I was like, wait, I don't know what that weather is. Like, as I hit the start, so I was like, oh, everlasting light, that makes sense. The Lightwardens! Crystal Exarch welcomes you back to the Crystarium. Here we go. We've done the opening. Now it's time to get into the expansion.
Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creatures we call Lightwardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist.
Nice.
Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Lightwarden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
Nice.
I have a feeling Yulmul might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Are you sure that eliminating the Wardens will be enough?
Your uncertainty is understandable, given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then.
Oh.
In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds.
This is such a cool friggin' image, though.
This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially.
I'm surprised that it's not depicted as the source in the center, and then the reflections around it, though. I'm surprised that the source is part of the circle, you know?
Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities.
Yep.
7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed.
Lightning. Fire. Earth. There's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth is gone, sixth is gone, the 12th, the 10th, what, the 7th?
At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Lightwardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Northrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Lightwarden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Lightwardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Hallminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Hallminster Switch.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
Sure. Hallminster Switch. Hallminster Switch is in the north of Lakeland, so we'd best make haste with our preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crystarium at the crossroads northwest of the Censer Gate, and I shall lead you there myself. Oh boy. Lightwardens. Saturating the world with light. They just radiate so much light ether. that it just burns the sky with light. Like, look at that. That's insane. All set. If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly now. Quickly now, he says, as he walks off at a leisurely pace. I do think that they should have given him a run animation. But, oh well. It is what it is. And this, at the time when I started, but at the time when I got to Shadowbringers, this was the beginning of duty support. There was no duty support yet anywhere else in the game, except I think they had just released it to ARR. I think I was hitting Shadowbringers when patch 6.1 came out. So, northern staging point. So this was my first time to like try to use the duty support. Holman's switch is past these gates and through the woods. It's not exactly a near neighbor to the Crystarium, but as we occupy the same region, we've built up something of a cooperative relationship. What can we inspect inside, Captain? The town is beset by a swarm unlike any we have seen in recent years. We did our best to evacuate the villagers, but as many as half remain. Judging by the number of eaters present, we have good reason to believe that the Lightwarden leads the attack. How convenient. Seems we'll have our chance to slay a warden sooner than we expected. One does not simply slay a warden. Has no one told you what happens if you defeat one of those fiends? They hold more light inside them than all of their underlings put together. It can be struck down, aye, but its essence won't dissipate like the weaker kind. Vile ether will billow outwards and envelop the nearest living being, a reckless young swordswoman perhaps, and turn her into a brand new warden. Well, you can leave that particular quandary to us. You must ask that the guards stand down and allow us to engage this leader of eaters alone. Concentrate on the survivors. We must save every life we can. But what if... Understood, my lord. As captain of the guard, however, I will not watch you brave such danger without an escort from our ranks. I insist that I go with you. Very well. Then our warden slaying party shall include myself, the Leviers, Captain Lena, and last but not least, a formidable group indeed. Into Holminster we go. Once we reach the Lightwarden, do not hold back. We strike to kill. Holminster Switch, now accessible. New regular duty has been added to the Duty Finder and Duty Support. The instant dungeons encountered in subsequent main scenario quests can be completed solo alongside a supporting party of NPCs. To make use of this feature, simply speak with one of your NPC companions near the entrance for the instance and select the option to form a party. Alternately, oh my gosh, you can also select Duty Support under Duty from the main menu or interact with the instance entrance itself. Forming a party, you will need to follow the same role restrictions imposed when using Duty Finder. Alternatively, you can find party members via the duty finder as usual. Complete the instance with fellow players instead. So yeah, this was my first, like, chance at duty support. And I remember being like, okay, like, the duty support had come out for Realm Reborn. And I was like, you know, cool, but you can do it with players, you know, of whatever. And so, like, it legitimately didn't interest me at all. Until that cutscene just there, where they're like, I'm gonna, go with, we're all going with you and such. And I went, oh, so like the characters are like integrated into the story now. And so I was like, I wonder then if that means that there's gonna be something story related, that comes up if you take the NPCs. Well, if that's the case, maybe I will take the NPCs.
Let's give it our all.
Just to see how it goes. I have used duty support ever since because, as it turns out, duty support is a really nice feature. And, yeah, I think I want to use the duty support because, it's a really nice feature, and I really like the fact that, the NPCs, at least here, I don't know a lot about the duty support prior to this. Just because I haven't really used it. I've used it in any time I've done this New Game Plus thing, which really is just going through Heavensward. But as they've been releasing the duty support through Dawn Trail for like some of the side dungeons, I've been using it there as well, just as sort of a hey, let's do this, type thing. So I'm like, alright, that's, I like the duty support. First off, it lets you run the dungeon without any other players, which means that you can go as fast or as slow as you want, for the most part. It kind of depends on, if you're a tank or a healer. The duty support healer can't exactly handle it as much. But most tanks can survive entirely without a healer. And so, like, a tank could run in to one of these dungeons, running duty support, and still wall to wall with this group pretty easily,
Very well.
That said, I want to take these guys. That's why I switched. Oh wait, hang on. It's gonna register that this is a dungeon that I've done already, and so it's gonna skip the cutscenes. So if I turn off playback of previous, skip of previously played,
very well,
scenarios, then I can take Lena, LSA, and the Crystal Exarch. You've got Crystal Exarch, who's an all-rounder. You've got Lena, who's Captain Guard, or Guard Captain, and you've got LSA, who is Red Mage. Also, it's worth noting that Elfino is not a scholar. He is an academician. That's a really hard word to say.
Very well.
And the Crystal Exarch is always an all-rounder, but if you take the Crystal Exarch as your tank, he is a paladin. Oh, my white mage is too low level. Interesting. If you take the Crystal Exarch as... Hang on.
Very well.
If you take the Crystal Exarch as a DPS, he is a black mage.
Very well.
If you take him as a healer,
to me.
then he's a white mage. So that's neat. That the Crystal Exarch is a black mage. Or at least he has the black mage icon, so. More events. Holminster Switch. Also, I like that Holminster Switch is always like this when you go into the dungeon. Doesn't matter if you're further ahead in the story or not. It is still light bound. So. Also, hopefully this isn't going to be too loud. But I gotta bump up the freaking BGM here because I love this music. There she is. God, such sin eater. It can't be. Swell their ranks with wild beasts. Fear for the village. Let's make short work of these. Now, if I were a good tank, I could probably wall-to-wall this entirely on my own without having to worry. I'm not going to because I'm not a good tank. Or rather, and I feel like I should say it this way. It's not that I'm not a good tank. I'm not an exceptional tank. I am a perfectly good tank. I'm just not stupidly, like, so ridiculously exceptional that I can just destroy the entire game without a thought. Like, I think we give people who are, like, really good at games too much credit. Or, I guess, not too much credit. I guess it's more not enough credit. Like, people who are, like, exceptional at video games, like, are always viewed as the, like, standard. And we need to stop doing that. Because that's not true. Like, yes, you can be exceptional at video games. But that's not the standard, and we need to stop saying, you know, oh, this person is bad at video games just because they're not exceptional, you know? Also, apparently, these guys are really bad at healing. Because, holy crap. My health.
Time has come.
The time has come.
For the Crystarium!
But yeah, if I was an exceptional tank, I could probably pull at least 2 of these groups without, like, much of a thought. But I'm not. And I'm not an exceptional tank. I'm just a good tank. And here's the other thing, in my opinion. Like, people who are exceptional need to be giving themselves more credit. You know? Like, often a lot of what I see, it's like, you know, well, if you're any good at... No, it's not if you're any good at. Like, give yourself... Like, in this case, be selfish. And say, hey, look at how good I am. Because legitimately you are. You know, you... If you can wall-to-wall this and barely rely on your healer, you are not normal. You are exceptional. You should be claiming that right. Is that not the goal? Like, is that not what everybody always is, like, saying? It's like, yeah, look, I did Savage, so now I have this status symbol. It's like, okay. Like, so stop saying, like, oh, everybody can. If you don't want everything, and here's the thing, I got into a fight over this with somebody. Because I was commenting, like, you know, listen, they should just make it so that everybody has a chance to get everything, you know? And somebody was like, oh, you're one of those assholes that just wants everything to be available to everybody, and we should all just be nice to each other. And, you know, I'm like, okay, either everything needs to be available to everybody, in which case we are all the same and we are all evenly skilled, or you need to start claiming the right of being exceptional. If your idea is that Savage content is what everybody can do, then the prizes should be available to everybody regardless. I knew it! The Eater from Amarang. Otherwise, if you really want to sit here and say, look, the fact that I got this thing shows that I did Savage and it's a status symbol, then you need to start saying, look how exceptional I am. And stop claiming that everybody can do the thing you can do. Stop saying, this is just the standard, and start saying, for people who are exceptional, look what we can do. You act, probably not you, watcher, but to those people, I say, you act like being exceptional is the standard. But it's not. If you want people to look at your achievements and be like, holy crap, look at your achievements, you need to start acting like those achievements are exactly that. Those achievements don't mean anything if your claim is that everybody can do it. If everybody can do it, then that means everybody should have the chance to do it. And everybody should have the same ability to get the item that you got.
I'm with you.
Let's give them a go.
Oh, here comes what? Oh no, Alice had to move, so he had to stop. Here comes LB3. Oh, nope. Once again, also it's LB1, not LB3. I don't know why I said LB3. So here comes the limit break. Whenever they get a chance, are able to stop moving. Like, I'm sorry, but if you want to be that selfish, that pin-headed, you know, that look, I'm better than you, then you need to act as though the things that you're accomplishing show that you are better than other people. If you think that's rude, maybe that's because it is. And maybe that's your indication that, hey, you know, maybe not everybody can do these things. And maybe we need to stop, you know, acting like everybody can do these things. Pipers, must buy them time to flee. Go, take refuge in the Crystarium. Oh, I did those literally backwards. I thought the first line was the Exarch and the second line was Lena. But it was the exact opposite way around. Oh well. If the standard of FF14 is that everybody can do Savage, if the standard is that everybody can wall to wall, if all you need to do is be good at the game, to do the things that you claim that you can do, then the things that you do are not, the rewards that you reap are not a status symbol. And they should be treated as such. Otherwise, if you want the thing to be treated as a status symbol, start treating it like a status symbol. Only those who are exceptional at playing the tank role can wall to wall. Only those who are exceptional at the game are going to do Savage and Extreme and get the mounts and the cool things. Stop claiming it's the standard, but then claiming that it's a status symbol. It's one or the other, not both. Like, I could be doing more to, you know, more properly mitigate damage, such as maybe using arm's length or reprisal. Now, what I'm told is that you don't want to do that because it doesn't work out. And that's the other aspect of it. Like, I've always been told never to use more than one mitigation because it's not worth it. So I use one mitigation. Now, I also sometimes forget to hit mitigations in, you know, single pull situations like that. You know, you might have noticed a couple of times where I haven't been hitting the mitigations. You know, one will run out and I'm not hitting it. Like, every single rule of Final Fantasy XIV that people tell you is pretty much not true. When you actually talk to the higher, like the people that are, you know, exceptional at the game. Never use more than one mitigation. Oh, but make sure that you put Rampart and Reprisal. Or make sure you put, you know, Arm's Length and sentinel, you know. It's like there's so many times where the rules that are stated as like what you are supposed to do that everybody tells you it's not true. A good example of this is you will hear a lot of people say, you know, somebody will ask, well, how do I best play my class? And the answer that you will legitimately get from most people is just use all of your skills when they come off cooldown. And then you will then hear people complain because you're using all of your skills off cooldown when they come off cooldown. For example, dropping Bloodbath off cooldown. You know, hitting more than one mitigation at a time. You know, it's like you can't say these are this is how you do it and then complain when that's how people play the game. Start telling people how to play the game, and then you'll see that people know how to figure. The amount of times I see people say, I don't get why people don't understand how to play their class. Because they're asking you how to play, and then they're doing exactly what you say. Except what you're saying is not actually true. Well, okay, it's true, it's just not, you know, maybe in this situation, but you're not saying that. If you say, use all of your skills the moment they come off cooldown, people are going to use all of their skills off cooldown. That's going to include arm's length. That's going to include mitigation. That's going to include bloodbath. That's going to include healing spells. That's going to include anything that when it comes off of cooldown. You can't tell somebody, use all of your skills, use the skills when they come off cooldown, and then complain that they're using the skills on when they come off cooldown. You know? Can't tell them that they're playing incorrectly. Also, simply put, you literally cannot tell somebody that they're playing the game incorrectly. That is
If I must.
legitimately against FF14 TOS. You can be banned. You can make recommendations. Those exact words are in the TOS about it. You can make recommendations. You can say, hey, can you please? You cannot say you're stupid for. You cannot say you're doing it wrong. You cannot say, this is it right from the TOS. You cannot say, it must be done this way or not at all. You can't beat it any other way. Those exact words are in the TOS itself as you cannot say this. Look it up. It is against TOS. Well, nobody, the GMs don't enforce it. They will if it is reported. It's like Belmont. You know, the server that I have written on here. FF14's rules do in fact state you are not allowed to have any amount of sexual content in your bio. Not even like slight things. You know, you are not allowed any amount of sexual content. You can't say, you know, are you lewd like me? You can't say, do you want to play a lewd game? You can't say, I am looking for a master. I know this because I got banned for that one, by the way. I literally had in my bio at one point, you know, female looking to, you know, looking for, female looking for female, you know, can I be your master? That was what my bio said. I got a 10-day ban for that. Because that is sexual content. And yes, people do put that in their bios on Belmont. And yes, the GMs do not enforce it. You're absolutely right. When I got my 10-day ban, I asked about that. Well, I wouldn't say I asked about it. I said, hey, I have another character, you know, I have another character on my account who has the same search info. You know, copy paste, same search info on their bio. You know, if this is breaching TOS, is it possible that, you know, that character's bio can also get reset so that way I don't get reported like immediately as soon as I get on? You know, especially it's going to be 10 days. Maybe I forget to change my bio, you know, things like that. The GM literally told me, word for word, that, let me try to remember. Yeah, I said word for word. Let me try to see if I can remember it word for word. He said, that character wasn't reported, so I can only clear the bio of the reported character. Which means, if you don't get reported, they're not, I don't know if they're not going to, or if they legitimately can't enforce their rules. But if it does get reported, they will enforce the rule. 100%. And I have stated that to many players since that happened to me, because after getting the first 3-day ban, I was like, okay, you know, I goofed. Let me double check, look through the TOS, you know, make sure I've got this right. When I received the 10-day ban, I sat down and I went through the TOS again. And I looked 100% over everything. Lightwarden, Philia! And while I can't say that I've memorized the TOS or anything, I can tell you a lot of what the TOS says. And I can tell you, there's a lot of things that the FF14 community does that is against TOS. You will get banned. And as somebody who has gone through the ban cycle, here's what happens. You'll be sitting there playing FF14 or doing whatever, and suddenly you'll get an email from Square Enix. The email will say, hey, we think that we noticed somebody else log into your account that wasn't you. You might want to log in, change your password, and things like that. And they tell you that. They don't tell you anything more, which I think is stupid, but that's what they will do. They will send you an email that says that. That means that you have been reported and they have found something from that report that is true, and you just received your first warning. The second time, they send you the same email. That means that you have now had 2 separate people report you, and you have been doing something wrong, and there is proof of that on 2 separate occasions. They will do that a third time, and they will send you that same email a third time. That means you've now received 3 reports, and they have found something wrong all 3 times. Now you've hit all 3 of your strikes. Every single thing, every time you get reported after that, you get a ban. Your first ban is 3 days. Your second ban is 10 days. I don't know what's beyond that because I have been very careful to not break the TOS. If you have received a 10-day ban, it means that 5 separate times you have done something that was reported, and the GM has come to you twice. And that's the thing, on the 4th time, if you are logged in when they decide to distribute the ban, the GM will pull you into an instance and tell you, you're banned for 3 days, or 10 days, or however many days. They will flat out say, you're about to receive a ban. And it seems like they use like a macro or something, and they will say, you know, well, hello, such and such player. We have received information that you have done whatever thing that is against the rules. There is evidence that this claim is true, and it has been proven factual. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. You can't argue because they have the proof, and they will tell you that. Here's the proof. This is what's wrong. In accordance with the rules, you are going to be penalized with a ban. This is how long the ban will be. Do you understand what you did wrong? Do you understand that you are getting penalized for the thing you did wrong? Yes. Yes, I do. Before I leave you, and before I return you to the game and issue the ban, is there any final remarks you would like to make? If you say no, they're like, we thank you for playing Final Fantasy XIV. We hope that you return afterwards. And have fun. Basically. I am paraphrasing. But that's basically what they say. You know, we hope that you come back after your ban period is over. We hope that you continue to enjoy Final Fantasy XIV. Just don't do whatever thing again. Don't do it again and we won't have any issues and you'll be a great player, you know, more or less. And then they kick you out of the instance. You end up back at wherever you were prior. And you have about 30 seconds to log off. Because after those 30 seconds, you will get kicked. And at that moment, your ban begins.
The time has come.
Now, here's the thing about that. Your ban doesn't actually start until 12 o'clock midnight rolls around. So if you got a 3-day ban, if you were banned at, let's say, 3 in the morning, the timer on your 3-day ban does not start until the next midnight. Which essentially means that you have gotten a 4-day ban. My 10-day ban was an 11-day ban because of that. I think it was at like 4 in the morning. And they were like, you know, now, so that you know, the timer doesn't start until midnight. You still are banned until midnight, but the actual time that you are banned, the timer for that, does not start ticking down until midnight. Which means if you got a 10-day ban and it's 4 o'clock, you're getting a freaking 11-day ban, basically. And it sucks. It really does. I highly recommend reading the TOS. Because there's a lot of stuff in there that people don't realize that they do. And yes, I'm not going to go around reporting everybody for minor things. You know, it might be in the TOS that being rude is against the rules. It is, by the way. But if somebody is a little rude to me, I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm going to report that. Like, I'm not that mean of a person. However, if somebody ticks me off by being rude, I have no problems coming right down here, opening this up, and clicking report harassment. Or report cheating, depending on, you know, what is, you know, going on. But usually it's harassment. So, I have no problems hitting that button. And I will. If it really upset me. But like I said, I'm not going to just hit it over every minor infraction. You know? There is somebody that comes to Balmung a lot that I have gotten tired of. Because they are very direct in that they are looking for adult things. And they use say, yell, and shout. And say things like, hey, I'm a man looking for a woman and I want you to do blah, blah, blah. If that sounds interesting, click. That's it. I mean, obviously you have to fill it in, but like the moment I see that person, click, I'm on it. I haven't seen them around much, by the way, lately. I wonder why. I wonder why.
It's releasing its ether. Fall back. We cannot let it touch us. Quickly, my lord, we must withdraw.
That will not be necessary, Captain. Though I appreciate your concern. The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor. But now we have a way to contain that corruption. The blessing
My
of
soul
light,
is
and
dead.
the hero who wields it now stands before you.
Also the blessing of light, yes. But my soul is dense. This scene is so cool, though. You see, I have the blessing of light, which prevents ether corruption.
Behold, the monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
Oh, yeah. Also, I realized, just remembered, I didn't do the cinematic for Shadowbringers in episode 1, like I do with, did with Endwalker and Dawn Trail. Right? I did that in both of them? I think I did. Night! How many people live now that have never seen stars? That have never seen night? Because there's been no night in 100 years. Most of these races only live like 70 to 80 years.
It's so beautiful.
The sun, the sea. I think that was voiced. But I also said it.
Warrior of darkness has come.
Yes, it was voiced. I spoke it and then I was like, wait a minute, it's still voiced. At least I think it was. Because I spoke over it, so I didn't actually hear the voice. I am the warrior of
Is
darkness.
What I think it is?
The night sky. As it should be.
Who are you people? You killed a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true. My lord?
When the Crystal Exarch, the ruler of the world, basically, is bowing before you.
How many
Yeah.
years have I waited for this moment?
It's like, oh, snap.
For the one possessed of her blessing, for you. You have vanquished the Lightwarden of Lakeland, and for the first time in a century, darkness has returned to the mantle of night. Without the ever-present light to sustain them, the Sin Eaters will have no choice but to retreat. Yet our victory is far from complete. Though darkness has fallen here, the other wardens yet bask beneath burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains. Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not only for the first, but for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other. But, be that as it may, I concede it was wrong of me to summon you to this fight against your will. I swear, on my life, I will one day atone for that deed, but for the present, I beg you stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the wardens and restore darkness to the first.
Hey, look! I will become the warrior you need. Sounds like a glorious adventure. Seems I have no choice but to fight. Sounds like a glorious adventure.
On behalf of the first, I offer you my deepest thanks.
That's legitimately all Rin cares about. Like, if I were to play Rin as she is meant to be, that is legit Rin. Like, after she died, which, I mean, you know, that's gonna sound ridiculous, you know, but the idea, you know, it's an isekai situation. She's an isekai OC, basically. After she died, she got isekai, more or less. After, you know, when she got pulled from Earth and dropped into whatever world, you know, that I'm viewing it from. In this particular case, it would be Final Fantasy XIV. You know, I have my own world where she's actually from. And I've kind of incorporated the idea of FF14 being canon to her character in a way. In that her first world that she got pulled into was not my world. That like all of my novels take place in. It was another world. It's not Final Fantasy XIV, because I can't say that. But if I could, it would be the Final Fantasy XIV world. You know, she would be like, yeah, the first, you know, when I died, the first world I went to was Aetheris. And I had such a grand adventure there. And now, I've always, this has always been the thing for me. I've always wanted to just be able to live and have grand adventures. And so I do, you know? And so in my world, that is legitimately her thing. It's like, hey, can you help with this? It's like, sure, it's an adventure. So, like, that is the perfect answer right there. It's like, that sounds like it's going to be a fun adventure. Let's do it. You know? That is entirely her motivation for saving a world. Is, sure, it sounds like fun.
I understand there is much at stake here, Exarch, but why do you risk yourself so readily? It must have been a dangerous drain on your ether to summon even one person across the rift.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crystarium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet to be built when you first called forth the Crystal Tower. I'm simply curious to know what prompted you to commit yourself so completely to this particular course.
There are things which we can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them. Forgive me. I fear the events of the day may have taken their toll. Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
Right?
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Sin Eater is defeated.
Come then, my warriors of darkness. Let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crystarium.
Now, it's not that Sin Eaters can't exist in this, like, area. It's that the smaller and the weaker Sin Eaters can't exist. If one like that big angel dude were to come flying into here, she'd be perfectly fine. How quickly you have justified my faith in you. So many lives saved, and the sky itself heralds your success. A single victory in a larger struggle, perhaps, but a monumentous one nonetheless. Warrior of Darkness. The Exarch is looking ahead to the immediate future. Also, I'm now level 72. I'm now into the level 71 quest, and I'm only level 72 on Dancer, so I probably want to get some levels. Now, as for how we proceed from here, it's okay. I can pause the New Game Plus at literally any point, which is nice, and then resume later, so I can, like, level up without issues. The villagers we evacuated earlier have arrived safely in the Crystarium. They seem to be accepting their situation for the moment. Most folk are far too distracted by the sky to worry about wounds or lost homes. They whisper and wonder if the Warrior of Darkness has come. 'Tis to be expected. Rin, I must ask a favor of you. Would you be so kind as to conceal your involvement in this endeavor for the time being? Seeing the light recede from Lakeland is a momentous occasion, and many will be swept up in a maelstrom of excitement and confusion. Should you come forth as the legendary Warrior of Darkness, I fear that, no matter how good your intentions, such an appearance would throw the city into disarray. I find myself in agreement with the Exarch, although my concerns are more focused on Yulmore. It may be best if you maintain a low profile until we see how Vothri responds to all of this. Alright. My thanks, though we cannot freely celebrate your success. Pray allow your heart to be buoyed from the joy of our citizens, a joy you surely brought into being. And I must ask the same discretion of you, Captain. 'Tis my intention to share with our people the tale of a great warrior who stood in defiance of the Sin Eaters. The unnamed champion defeated the Lightwarden and has since departed for parts unknown. Yes? As you wish, my lord. Your penchant for mystery is nothing new. I will encourage folk not to question this either. Although I expect to be told the whole truth of it one day, about all of you. With that settled, I shall return to the Crystarium and make an address to the people. These explanations and adjustments will consume much of my time, so pray, take the opportunity to rest and recover from your exploits. And to think, you'll not even need to shutter the windows to enjoy a dark and peaceful night's sleep. I must stand behind and coordinate the evacuation of the remaining survivors. And I hesitate to ask after all you've done here today, but could I ask you to pass on a message on your way to the pendants? Please let Broggy know that we're bringing in a number of injured, and that any restoratives in the market need to be reserved for the infirmary. I got that. No problem. We should start making our own way back to the Crystarium. Slowly, mind you. It wouldn't do to arrive too soon after the Exarch. I'm staying behind as well. There's something I need to check on in Holminster. We already went through the village top to bottom, Alice, eh? We should all take the chance to rest, you included. I knew one of those eaters. And I can't rest. Not now. So, please, I wish to be left alone for a while. And that means you as well, Vryn. I shall be cross if you try to follow me. I promise to find you later, when I feel myself again. She's going to check on Tesleen. Just you and me then, shall we? She knows that Tesleen is gone, but she still wants to go back. Double check, make sure. And ultimately, take a moment to grieve. So. And I would, if I were, Rin, I would probably be like, yeah, no, I get it. Well, I'd just be like, yeah, no, I get it. Go, Alice. I get it. At this point, I do feel like Rin has probably lived long enough in, her other world. Well, I guess it depends. I mean, first off, if we're assuming that FF14 is canon to Akagi Rin, because of course, first name last, because she's Japanese. And by the way, it should be noted that the name Akagi Rin is her actual name. That's not a name that she took when, she got isekai. That is just legitimately her name. Because she is supposed to be a Japanese, girl. Her canon backstory is she was 17. She went to she was on her way to school when she came upon somebody who was in trouble. I don't know what Japan is like. I assume that there are, muggers and villains and, stuff like that. Maybe not as rampant. Maybe they're more rampant. I don't know. But the idea that I would view, that I would assume, without knowing for sure if it's correct, would be she encountered somebody who was getting mugged. They had a knife. Yes, she was a 17-year-old schoolgirl, but she has always wanted to be a hero. And so she sees this person, getting attacked, and just something in her clicks, this is what I want. This is the thing I've wanted to do. And so she rushes forward, she saves the person, but as the person is fleeing and getting away from her attacker, Rin ends up getting stabbed. You know, I've assumed that the idea is she jumps in, she, you know, helps the girl get away, and the two have like a tussle, you know. They grab each other, they kind of, you know, push back and forth, and the person that she's like trying to stop doesn't realize and like accidentally stabs her. And is like, oh my gosh. And so he runs away. And so then she dies. But then she wakes up and she finds herself now in this other realm. And she hears, and I haven't decided yet the exact specifics, but I would think she woke up in the essentially the afterlife, but some higher being pushed her out of the afterlife into the void, which is the space between all, like, universes, you know. Our universe is a bubble inside of the void. Freaking, my Versamy world is, that universe is a bubble inside of the void. The FF14 universe is a bubble inside of the void. My canon is essentially that all canons are true. You know, all video games and all of their worlds, all the movies, all the books, they're all canon to my world. And they're bubbles inside of the void. And there is a void that extends out infinitely. And inside of that void are all an infinite number of universes, multiverses, you know, bubble verses, you know. And so, like, she ends up getting pushed out into the void because once you're in the void, you will, like, get sucked into, like, other universes. And basically, like, the god of her original universe was like, I know you want to adventure, and I know you want to, like, live and be like a hero. So I'm going to push you out of the universe so that you can travel to another universe where you can be a hero, you know? And so she gets kicked out of her universe, gets pulled into another universe. And if I were to canonize FF14 as the first place she goes to, it would be she gets sucked into the FF14 universe. You know? And in the FF14 universe, the void is called the Rift, you know? And so, like, she gets sucked into the FF14 verse. And when she, like, arrives, you know, she's still 17. She's still basically, you know, herself from that universe. From her universe. But, like, then she grows up, you know, she gets a few years to kind of learn about the world, you know, do her own adventuring and things like that. And she is, but because she's not native to the universe, she's essentially immortal. She can die, but then she'll just come right back to life after a period of time. And so, like, she's learning about the universe, and of course, yes, she is dying due to problems, but she's then learning about things, and she's coming back. And then the events of 1.X occur, basically. And she would be one of the people in Carteneau fighting, you know, that Louis Soir goes poof and teleports them away, you know. And so she goes poof, she gets teleported away, she pops back in. She pops back in just randomly in the world. The traveler from the beginning of the game finds her and is like, you know, she like boards whatever. I guess in this case it was the boat, right? Because she was going to Limsa. So she like pops in and she's like, okay, you know, like you know, there's a boat, you know, she spends a couple of days like learning and everything, but she's like, okay, there's a boat, you know, it's going to this place that needs help. You know, Limsa, it's supposed to be this cool, like, adventure-y place. I'm going to go there. She gets on the boat, and then the events of FF14 occur, basically. You know, and just wholesale exactly as FF14 plays out. And, like, she goes through Limsa, and she's like, this is awesome. I love, you know, first off, well, she's like, you know, I think I would canonize that she would, like, started in the Shroud or something, and so she didn't interact in Limsa much in 1.X. And so, like, she goes to Limsa in 2.0, you know, and she's like, hey, this is actually a really cool place. She learns to be an Arcanist, and, you know, the things progress from there as the story of FF14 occurs, so... The Crucerium seems relatively ordered, wouldn't you say? The Exarch's speech must have been reassuring to hear. On the contrary, there is something jubilant in the air. I have a feeling this night won't be quite as peaceful as our hooded friend predicted. I think I shall take a brief stroll around town before retiring to my chambers. Once you've discharged your duty to Bragi, I suggest you do the same. Sleep well, Rin. I hope untroubled dreams find you and LSA both. Again, this is also assuming that FF14 is not only canon to Rin, but that she is the Warrior of Light. You know? And yes, I do realize somebody might be like, well, you know, how do you explain the whole she's Asm thing and whatnot? And to that, I don't know. Like, I'm fully willing to say I don't know. There are some theories about what might happen in the Godless Saga, as they're calling Dawn Trail plus the expansions after. We'll have to see whether those theories hold true or not. But, I don't know, maybe instead of appearing in 1.0, she appeared all the way back, you know, in the time of the Ancients, you know. Maybe she became Asm, and this is just a continuation, you know. I don't know. We don't know what happened to Asm back then. We don't know how freaking Asm became us, you know. So who knows? Alright, what can I do for you? Looking to buy a lantern like every other stumbling soul in the city? Nah, I'm here to talk to you. I see. Captain Lena can rest assured that any potions I spot coming in will be set aside for the wounded. Hang on a moment. If you're carrying messages for the guard, does that mean you were there then? The battle at Holminster? Stalwart lass like you might want to pay a visit to the Wandering Stairs. Make yourself known. I'm sure Glynard can introduce you to some interesting opportunities. Ah, yes, roll quests. Which I wonder if it will let me access in New Game Plus. I don't know how that works. I don't know how New Game Plus reacts to roll quests. But this is the moment when you unlock your roll quests. And I will absolutely go through and do all of them. If I have to New Game Plus to do freaking one of the one that got skipped, I will. But I'm absolutely going to do all of them before this, like, series ends. So yeah, more beer for table 2. And a couple of pints of mead for table 3 while you're at it. Coming right up. Sorry, we're rushed off our feet today, miss. Can I get you anything? Drinks are on the house. I was told there was something interesting here. Oh, that Broggy has a twisted sense of humor. To think he'd send you to me at a time like this. The first real night in near 100 years his folk all riled up, and then some. What's more, there was that eater business at Holminster Switch. They say a Lightwarden was destroyed without a damn trace. That was the Warrior of Darkness who did the deed. That's what I've heard too, yeah. I really must apologize for Glynard. He's been almost as rowdy as our customers, and that's no small feat. A lot of our regulars are bounty hunters, you see. They mostly go after eaters, and the rumor of the warrior's appearance was the spark to their kindling. What do you mean? You know how the weak eaters are drawn to the strong ones, right? Yeah? Aye, they swarm like angry bees around a queen. We need look no further than Holminster for proof of that. But attacks on that scale don't happen every day, praise the blessed Shadow. No, the more common threats are the strays. No one knows why, but every now and again an eater will leave the pack to prowl alone. Those are the ones you run into on the road if your luck is a foul. They're a danger to everyone, so the settlement council puts bounties on their heads, and our bar here is a convenient place for hunters to gather and share information. Seems a few of them were inspired by the warden slaying even more than most. These are the types who have their sights set on the absolute worst of the strays, a class of eaters that have been dubbed the cardinal virtues. The virtues showed up out of nowhere about 3 summers ago, and when historians heard the descriptions given by survivors, well, apparently they share an appearance with the villains who caused the flood. And if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, they're also reported to be as tough as Lightwardens. Not the kind of prey you can take down single-handed. Our virtue hunters had all but given up, but knowing the Warrior of Darkness is out there has lit a fire in their bellies. Just look at them. That Hume over there with the oversized sword is Granson. He's in it for revenge. Want to recruit a comrade in arms as tenacious as he is. The Meistel lad is Lou Reek. Don't be fooled by those dewy cheeks. He's as hard a hunter as they come. He just lost a partner. Seems to be on the lookout for a new one. That's Serg. Word is he seeks an expert in magecraft to help fight the virtue he's after. Last we have Giat. Dwarf and drunkard both. Wanted to join forces with a healer, and only a healer. Something about needing a mender's wisdom. Oh, that's right, there are only 4, aren't there? There's only 4 in this expansion. So wait, does that mean that none of them have actually been done? I'm thinking I counted 4 last time. Seen my share of competent veterans. You have that look about you. Maybe you should introduce yourself to one of our hunters. Who knows? Together you might even collect the bounty on a cardinal virtue. Now there's a grand idea. Imagine the prestige of my bar would earn if we boasted the patronage of a successful virtue hunter. You've gained access to role quests. A separate quest line and story is now available for tank, DPS, physical DPS, magical ranged DPS, and healer roles. In order to reach the final stages of the Shadowbringers main scenario, you must complete at least one role quest line. Speak with a virtue hunter at the Wandering Stairs to accept a quest offer. Yep, but it doesn't let me pick it up. What if I disable New Game Plus for a moment? Spend chapter? Sarag Giat. Grandson. No, there's only 3. Okay. Man with too many scars, traditions and travails, and hollow pursuits. Right, okay. So yeah. So one of them did get done then. Okay. So I would go under, I think it is... I don't know what this is. I don't think I have this unlocked even on Cassandra. The thing that's in between Omega and Eden. I don't know what this is. Because this is Myth of the Realm. Wait. There's 3 more after Eden. Oh wait, yeah. Because there would be Pandemonium. There would be Myth of the Realm. And... oh, so this is probably near. Never mind. Or no, because the Alliance raids are their own separate thing. Huh? Because there's only 2 other raids. Pandemonium for Endwalker and Arcadian for Dawn Trail, which now would have a New Game Plus now. So what are these other 2? I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments down below. Because I actually don't know. Here's the tank quests. Which this is... these are the level 80 tank quests. But then these are the tank role quests at the top. Same here. This is the level 70 because I haven't even gotten to level 70 on Astro. And then this is the level 80 and these are healer. And then, oh yeah, physical DPS role quests. Shadowbringers. Lurik is in search of a partner to help him slay an especially notorious mark. One of the 4 cardinal virtues. Those most infamous instigators of the Flood. Though he cares not a whit for who the warriors of light were, the fallen adventurer turned virtue, Renda Ray, was arguably the greatest hunter who ever lived, and the youth would like nothing more than to beat her at her own game. Abandon chapter currently in progress and begin anew. Oh. Your progress in the suspended chapter will be lost. Okay. So what I would need to do is, when I get to part 2, in between part 1 and part 2, I would want to stop and do this. And then I would be able to come back and do part 2. Which it looks like it starts right after Raktika. So I think that will be my plan. However, the other role quests are not completed, which means I can do them anytime. So I might consider like turning off the New Game Plus for a moment. Not this episode, but in another episode. I might turn off the New Game Plus, and I might do the tank quests. because I haven't done the tank quest yet. I'll work on getting probably Sage to level 80. And I'll work on getting probably either Black Mage or Red Mage to level 80. That way I can do the magic DPS. And physical range DPS and melee DPS are the same in Shadowbringers. So I could do it on Bard, or I could do it on any of these if I get them to level 80 before I hit the end of the part, part 1 here, when I get to the end of part 1. So, about to resume a suspended chapter. Okay. Interesting. So Granson is still there, Lurik is there, Giat is here. Yeah, yes, and Sarah is over there. Okay. Okay. And Lurik is the one that is done. Me, I'm a virtue hunter. Got my sights set on Andrea. You know her? Not the easiest mark, I'll admit, which is why I'm thinking about recruiting a partner. Just thinking, though. Or maybe that was... No, I think it's Sarah. Maybe? Freaking, which one is which? Sin Eater Phronesis, one of those damnable virtues, wanders the wasteland, wreaking havoc on all who pass as baleful magics. Okay, well, so what? The dialogue is, at this point in the story on, you know, instead of the thing being completed. So that's fine. Sin Eater Phronesis, one of its damnable virtues, wanders the wasteland, wreaking havoc on all who pass with his baleful magics. If only there was a mage of sufficient skill willing to lend old Sarah a helping hand. I might be a mage of sufficient magics. See? Empty already! You folks really need to rethink this one flagon at a time policy of yours. I don't know how to do Giat without spoiling the plot. I don't know how to do their voice. No, none of these milksops will do. I don't know how to do Giat without freaking spoiling the plot. I'm gonna have to think on that one. Okay, wow, okay, yeah, I just thought of that. Like, there's, like, how do I do Giat's voice without spoiling the whole freaking thing? Welcome back, miss. I wonder if anyone can sleep with the city in such an uproar. Will you be retiring to your quarters? I will. Very good. In light of the present situation, I've had illumination prepared for all our rooms. No need to rush to the markets for lanterns or candles. Have a pleasant rest, miss. Warrior of Darkness, complete. Luckily, I can just reach over and grab a drink while this cutscene is playing. I need a drink though, my throat dry. Throat's getting dry from freaking recording, what, this is the 3rd episode? Just like Ocarina of Time, I've been trying to do these in as few sessions as possible.
So it's
First,
your lot's turn to be the Warriors of Darkness, is it? It's funny how things work out.
the first 2 episodes of Ocarina of Time were recorded in a single session. 3 episodes of this have been recorded in a single session. Because I really gotta pump out multiple videos to make sure I have enough, because we don't think that we will have internet at the new place until the beginning of June. And so, like, even if we get all of our stuff moved, there'll be like a week and a half where we won't have internet. So even if, like, I could move everything and get it all to the new place, I wouldn't be able to, like, upload the videos. So I've got to, like, buckle down in the next, like, 3 days and get those done so that I can make sure that I'm getting them uploaded so that they're there as well, you know. Been watching, have you?
Well, I did warn you. I followed you to Yulmore and then on to Armorang. And I was there when you slew the Lightwarden.
I wonder if this switches if you do it the other way around.
Those white-haired twins who were with you. I remember them from our battle in Source. Are they your friends then? Through thick and thin?
That's right.
Aye. Then I suggest you keep them close. It's when you charge ahead trying to save someone else that you end up losing those you love. Not that you need telling, I'll bet you've lost plenty. But I wonder, what will it cost you this time? I don't remember when it was that I learned regret wasn't worth the bother. You get numb to it all over the years. The lost comrades, the broken promises, the abandoned principles. Just more nagging burdens to ignore.
Also, the scenes with Ardbert must be really fun if you built a character that looks like Ardbert. I've seen people running around with Warriors of Light.
So this is what the light was hiding.
Oh! Wow, I forgot she looked like that.
She's here. I must go to her.
Wow. I completely forgot she looked like that. Yo! That's so... Oh, man. I haven't freaking done any of this in so long. Meanwhile, inside an Imperial Magitech facility in the Source.
Intruders! Fan out and find them!
That's right, they did resolve the Black Rose storyline during Shadowbringers. Oh! Rip.
Stay your weapon. We are not your enemy.
Oh, hey! Look who it is! This is why I don't get why they can't go back and re-record
When the alarm
stuff.
sounded, I wondered what we had done to betray our presence. But I see now we are not the only intruders.
It's Gaius von Belzar. Like, they have Gaius. They have a voice actor for him since the changeover. I don't get why they can't go back and re-record the new lines that are added in freaking... Not only the new lines, but like why they can't just go back and record the freaking cutscenes, unskippable cutscenes in freaking Castrum and Praetorium. Like, it would be so much more beneficial if they added voicing to those. They have all the voice actors. Like, yes, I know that the voice actors changed in A Realm Reborn. What they could do is take from Castrum and like just record all the lines again. There's not that many. You know? There's not that many in freaking Castrum and Praetorium and Porta Decumanu. And of course, you know, the cutscenes after. But like, just record those lines. Like, people are aware that the voice has changed, you know? Like, just record the lines, please. It would vastly benefit FF14.
Sir Estinian, I presume. The dragoon who plucked the warrior of light from the jaws of death? Your armor is most distinct.
She yours once was. But even without it, I see a former legator still has eyes and ears in unexpected places.
Ba-da-ba.
Van Baelsar, in the flesh. Though I understand you prefer Shadowhunter.
You are in contact with the Scions, I take it.
Through no choice of my own. They tracked me down and conscripted me to their cause. I swear the receptionist was trained as a spy. Not that anyone can escape that Baldassian woman once she has caught the scent of your ether.
I love that. I love that. Ah, to terror, seriously. I freaking love Tadera so much.
If they have resorted to using freelancers, I must assume their attempts to wake the afflicted have failed. And what of their champion?
Away on other business. Thus, it has fallen to me to root out any trace of the Empire's new weapon.
If it is Black Rose you seek, you are too late. My people have already completed your mission here. Yet this is but one factory among many. When they caught wind of our efforts, they built additional facilities to ensure production continues unabated. There will be no one left in the lands they conquer. No citizens to conscript. No skills to exploit. Nothing the Empire needs. And they will call it victory.
What exactly does this Black Rose do?
The gas is described as a poison, but its actual effect is more arcane in nature. It was created to disrupt the ether in living beings, to bring the flow of their life energies to a standstill.
Interesting, yes?
Inhaling even the tiniest amount will cause all bodily functions to cease, much as a potent venom will stop a man's heart. Released over a city, Black Rose could conceivably kill every inhabitant, and all without damaging a single structure.
Search every corner! Rouse the barracks if you have to! I want this facility secured!
I have more questions, but now is not the time.
Sir Estinian, I have an offer for you, but I will make it only once. Since it would seem we seek the same answers, you are welcome to join us.
From what I hear, you need all the help you can get. In case you don't know, Varys himself confessed that your empire was a creation of the Ascians.
I am aware of what his Radiance said at the parley. Thus, I would return to the capital, that I might behold the truth of this corruption with my own eyes. My path leads to Garlemald.
Oh my. An unwelcome guest. The manager of suites is wearing a grave expression. Ah, begging your pardons, miss, but do you perchance intend to head outside? If so, I would strongly advise you not to stray too far from the Crystarium. Word has it Yulmore has dispatched its military to Lakeland. Given the timing, one can only assume they do not welcome the return of night. Even now, the Exarch is in the Ocular, deliberating a response. Sounds like we need to head off to the Ocular then. And give a little talk. Or have a little talk, rather, with the Exarch. You know, find out what's going on. The way that I said it before, I realized, like, you know, give a little talk to the Exarch, like we're gonna, like, you know, tell him off or something. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what I'm saying. You have business with the Crystal Exarch? Yes. Take me into the Ocular, please.
You have come at a good time. As you may have heard, we have something of a quandary on our hands.
We really haven't been through Lakeland
Loft
much.
Here in Lakeland. Yulmore has sent one of its airships. They have questions for us concerning the death of the Lightwarden. Their emissary makes his way here even as we speak.
I suppose the sky does rather give the game away.
Right.
Indeed. 'Twas inevitable they would come knocking. The only question was how soon.
My lord, I am come with the Yulmoran emissary. May I show him in?
A moment, Captain, if you would.
I love the mirror.
Everyone, gather round. I do not wish to show our hand prematurely. Forgive me this liberty. Vanish.
Whoop. And we're invisible. Don't say a word. Just listen in.
Well, well. The commander of the Yulmoran army himself. To what do I owe the honor, General Ranjit?
Ranjit. Don't move. Don't say a word.
The Lightwarden is dead, Exarch. Were your people responsible?
You are clearly in some haste, my lord. But before I address your question, you must allow me one of my own. What is Yulmore's interest in this?
His benevolence, Lord Vorthry, is gravely concerned that the actions of an ignorant few may jeopardize relations between man and Sin Eater. Should it transpire that the Crystarium is guilty of abetting the villains responsible for this outrage, my lord has decreed that it suffer the same. retribution.
I see. Since you have been so candid, I too shall speak my mind. Regardless of who is responsible, the Crystarium rejoices in the Lightwarden's death and welcomes the return of the night sky. If Yulmore considers this tantamount to aiding those you term villains, then by all means, carry out your retribution. Know, however, that even should every innocent soul in the Crystarium perish, nothing can stop that which has been set in motion.
Folly. The death of one or 1,000 Sin Eaters changes nothing. The world is dead, and writhe as we might, like maggots in its rotting course, it will not be reborn. Only by my master's grace may we live out our days in peace. But I waste my breath. You have made your stance clear. I shall relay your words to Lord Vorthry. In the meantime, you would do well to counsel any here who have done more than merely rejoice in recent events, to throw themselves upon Yulmore's mercy, promptly.
I don't like him.
One last matter. We are searching for a young artist and his assistant. Know you of whom I speak?
An artist and his assistant, no. I cannot say I do.
What a pity. Should they reveal themselves to you, I bid you hand them over at once. My master is most eager to see them again.
He knew we were there, or at least he knew someone was there. He may not have known exactly who. But he was able to sense the ether.
Am I imagining things, or did he just stare straight at us?
I fear he did.
Yeah, he did.
The General is not a man to be trifled with. He is a warrior of fearsome repute who has led Yulmore's army since before Vorthry's time, when the nation still spearheaded the fight against the Sin Eaters. One does not command the world's mightiest army, and for so long, without possessing exceptional instincts.
If Yulmore chose to send such an individual, you must assume this talk of retribution is more than an idle threat. While we are grateful for your support, my lord, we cannot in good conscience put your people in harm's way.
'Tis noble of you to say, Master Alphino, but my people have been in harm's way since long before you arrived. Yulmore has ever yearned to rule over what remains of the world. Even should we surrender the Warrior of Darkness to them, they would find some other pretext upon which to invade. The people of the Crystarium know this only too well, which is why, when the time comes, I am certain they will fight to the last man. If truth be told, I would not have been surprised had Ranjit declared war here and now.
He may have reason to delay.
How so?
According to reports, the Yulmoran forces at Laxan Loft were observed taking a prisoner. A young woman believed to be none other than the Oracle of Light, Minfilia.
Ooh.
It may be that General Ranjit wishes to convey her to Yulmore before commencing hostilities. Having mentored generations of Minfilias, it would not surprise me if he had made her capture his chief concern.
Generations of Minfilias. Wait, is this the Minfilia? Sorry, generations of Minfilias?
Of course. How remiss of me. I had intended to speak to you of Minfilia. There is, however, much to say, and precious little time in which to say it. I think it best that you seek out Moren at the Cabinet of Curiosity. He'll be able to enlighten you. Alphino, Alize, would you care to accompany your friend? You doubtless have insights of your own to offer on the matter.
All right. Though I'm still not sure I understand it all myself.
In the meantime, I will set about making provisions for war.
War! Oh boy. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Most people probably have no idea what that is. I just aged myself so much with that. Like, I just showed my age so heavily with that, probably. It's fine. Everybody knows I'm old. It's fine. I'm not exactly, hiding the fact that I'm old. Whatever you think Moran's going to tell you about Minfilia, it won't be what you're expecting. Just trust me. Seems an age since we bade Minfilia farewell. Yes? If you are after books pertaining to the Warrior of Darkness, I'm afraid most are out on loan at present. They are experiencing quite a surge in popularity. I'm here about Minfilia. If you wish to learn about the Oracle of Light, that would be my pleasure to assist. After I finished off some few outstanding tasks, that is. While I attend to them, perhaps you could fetch me a book. The Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light, it's called. Though it's intended for younger readers, it provides an excellent summary of the subject matter, and the artwork is quite lovely besides. I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone with an interest in learning about Minfilia. But you must see for yourself. A book should be located on the level below. Should, I say, for while this is a place for everything here, not everything is always in its place, despite my best efforts. In short, if the book is not there where it should be, it will almost certainly be somewhere it shouldn't. So, good luck! I love that. If it's not where it should be, then it'll definitely be somewhere that it shouldn't be. It's like, well, yes, that does make sense. Freaking... The book does not appear to be here. No luck as yet. But also, we really all have only been looking for a few seconds at most. But it's okay, because it's a video game. So we've actually been looking for quite some time. All of the Crystarium is abuzz about the return of the night, and the beauty of the stars in the sky. But not me! If I know the book all about shoebills, I can't stop turning the pages. Alright. Is there a stepladder we can borrow? How about this shelf? But kill them to organize things a little better. Just as your eyes begin to blur, they finally come to rest on a copy of The Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light. That's the book, is it? Yes, it is. It's funny that she's just like, oh, you have the book? Okay, I'm going to go back to looking for the book now. You found it, did you? I did. Cool. I'm gonna go back to looking for it then. Alphino, LSA, you two alright? Have you found the book? Intended for younger readers, this tome, featuring winsome illustrations, tells the beloved tale of the Oracle of Light. Yes, this is the one. I hope it wasn't too difficult to track down. I'm happy to say I've finished all my pressing tasks. If you want to call your friends over, we can begin learning at once. Hey guys, I found the book, like I told you. Without further ado then, it began 100 years ago, when the flood of light threatened to swallow Norvant. Just as all seemed lost, a savior appeared who halted the all-consuming radiance. A maiden with hair spun of gold and eyes of clear sapphire. Naught was known about her save that her name was Minfilia, and for delivering the realm she came to be revered as the Oracle of Light. After stopping the flood, the mysterious maiden vanished without a trace. But 15 years later, her name would unexpectedly reappear in the annals of history. When Sin Eaters laid ruin to the kingdom of Vobert, a young girl was discovered who was immune to the creature's blighted touch. One with hair of spun gold and eyes of clear sapphire, she would hail as the Oracle Reborn, and came to likewise be called Minfilia. Enlisting in the Yulmoran army, this Minfilia fought and vanquished countless Sin Eaters. This is a kid's book? I don't know about that. Look at the blood everywhere. This is a kid's book. Alas, like so many other soldiers, she eventually met her end in battle. Yet with her dying breath, she whispered unto her grieving comrades, Minfilia will return. And true to her words, some years later, another young girl was discovered who possessed the self-same eyes, that self-same hair, and those self-same powers. She too took the name Minfilia. She too fought Sin Eaters as a soldier of Yulmore, and she too fell in battle. Many more were to follow in her footsteps, and so the cycle continues to this day. Really, that book had 2 pictures? And thus concludes the tale. By their valor and sacrifice, these women have saved Norvant on numerous occasions. Were it not for them, we might never have learned of the Lightwardens and their nature. They sound like formidable warriors. Some, perhaps. The truth is rather less simple. Though the Oracle is reborn with certain common traits, she does not inherit the memories or the knowledge of her previous incarnations. All of the Minfilias thus far were discovered as ordinary girls, unversed in the ways of war and ignorant of the power they harbored. While some embraced their fate and devoted themselves to training, others did not, but all were made to face the Sin Eaters. All died to keep our hopes alive. What can you tell us of the current Minfilia? She was found by the Yulmoran army some 10 years ago and taken into their care, or rather their custody. She was a prisoner in all but name, for by that time, under Lord Vothry's rule, Yulmore had already abandoned resistance in favor of decadence. Minfilia was an uncomfortable reminder of the war they no longer wished to fight, a potential threat to the place, and so they kept her under lock and key. For a long while, we heard nothing more of her. Couldn't even be certain she was alive, save that it was in the Yulmorans' best interests for her to remain under their control. And then, 3 years ago, a gallant soul stole into the city and rescued her from their clutches, just like a hero from the tales. Indeed, I believe we now have a good grasp of Minfilia's tale. Thank you for your time, Morand. Might I trouble you for a word, Red? Outside? Minfilia! Except that it is not the Minfilia that we know. It is another Minfilia. Or is it Minfilia? Or are they just girls that are being forced to take up the name? This seems a suitable place for a chat. As you will have already surmised, the gallant soul who rescued Minfilia was none other than our own dear Thancred. They have since been wandering the land together, never remaining in one place for long, which is why we have not yet had a chance to meet them. We know that Minfilia journeyed here as Heidelin's emissary to halt the flood of light. It could only be that the people of the First witnessed It could only be her that the people of the First witnessed 100 years ago, the original Oracle of Light. But while there's plainly some connection between the woman we knew and her namesakes, the fact that these girls do not share her memories must surely mean they are not the same person. Thancred has to understand that. I have no doubt that he understands. The question is how he feels. Regardless, the Thancred we know would not forsake his charge. If she has been captured, we may be certain he will not stand idly by. Humph, here you go again, talking in a roundabout way. If you think we should rescue Minfilia, just spit it out. If it just so happens, I agree with you. It's quite clear that this Minfilia possesses Heidelin's blessing. And it wouldn't hurt to have a second such individual on our side. Right, Rin? Quite. One's generally bad enough, but fine. I see you've made up your minds. Exarch, what brings you here? A report and a proposal. First, the report. Our scouts have confirmed that the Yulmoran forces at Loxenloft do indeed have Minfilia in their custody. For the present, they are holding her there, but we cannot be certain they will move her to Yulmor ere long. Should that happen, we may be forced to give her up as lost. So if we mean to act, we should do so quickly. Which brings me to my proposal. I ask that you entrust this undertaking to us, the people of the Crystarium. What? The Crystarium's resolve. The Exarch is eager to delve into the details of his proposal. And we will do that in the next episode. So, if you've been enjoying, feel free to subscribe. You can check the playlist for any of the episodes you might have missed. You can come out to twitch.tv/SereneInc, where I usually stream live. I have not been streaming, again, because of the move, so that's why I'm doing a bunch of these pre-records. But hopefully when I get back, we'll be back to streams. So, check that out. And with that, I'll see you all next time. See you later.
How many years have come and gone since that day? How many years have I waited for this moment?